Alright, yeah, basically it's about 6 o'clock. I think we can get started.
Alright.
And so I guess I'll say hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Collector's Vault. My name is Mike, and today I have two very special guests from Community Gaming. I have Mr. Ryno and I have Mr. PH. How you doing, guys?
How's it going, guys?
Man, it feels good to be back on the airwaves.
For sure.
So, yeah, for those of you listening, PH and Ryno brought a very fun idea to my attention, and it was to talk mainly about a couple points. And some of these points mainly are... Actually, I had a little list right here. Now I can't seem to find it. Uh-oh. Here we go. So the points we're going to be going over today, and obviously we'll elaborate more on this, is that we're going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole right now. Basically about people who are getting into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In, 2020. People coming back into the game in 2020. The current state of, like, how Konami's releasing products, like their new sets, the main booster sets, because a lot has changed. And I think just the current state of the game right now, given the meta, and given the health crisis that we're in right now. And we're not going to use that bad word, so we're just going to use some little keywords to avoid that. PH, what was your little keyword you want to use?
The beer bug.
The beer bug, okay. Do you have one, Ryno?
Oh, no, I mean, everyone's been calling it the crush card, right?
That's a good one. Actually, I like that, because that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Related, so yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, the crush card. Actually, that's a good one.
I like that better than the beer bug, for sure.
Yeah, beer bug's more generic, I guess, but yeah, we'll go with crush card.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, so, anywho, sorry, just moving my stuff around over here. So I guess let's get started with this. Let's talk about our first topic. Again, please chime in, guys, whenever you want to. It's not like it's not like a you have to raise your hand to speak thing. We're all friends here. So,
Yes, sir.
now, yeah, you guys mentioned that you had some friends that were getting into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think you mentioned one of them is from New Zealand. Is he one that's getting back into the game, or he's new to Yu-Gi-Oh?
Well, I think he's returning from the game, like after a couple months break. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then obviously Ryan's brother, is returning to the game. A couple friends.
Oh, Justin.
Yeah, we got a couple of different people trying to come back. Even me, per se, I'm really looking, until the ankle incident.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure sometime soon, once locals gets opened back up, I'm really, really excited to get back in there and actually start playing a little bit more competitively, more so than just on duel and stuff like that. I've amassed quite a bit of cards, and
Yeah, it's funny. Like whenever I would come up to hang out with you guys, in your town, like I know, like I never got a chance to actually play with you, Ryno. I know, like you'll come over, you'll hang out, and you'll say how you got. You were excited to play Pendulums. You were excited to play a couple of decks, and I think I never got a chance to play you, which is unfortunate. And
I think I played you one time, Mike, and it wasn't even my deck. I'm pretty sure you gave me a deck. I think I played Noble Knights, and you played something else.
Really? I don't remember
Yeah.
that. I mean, it sounds like if it was Noble Knights, that sounds like something I would give you, definitely. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, like, man, what could I have?
Yeah, next time, once the crush card ends and whatnot, we'll definitely have to.
Yeah.
Go in,
Well, I picked up like all the stuff I need for Pendulums. It's essentially my favorite card, Endymion. So I got the Magician's Souls now. I got literally everything I need.
Oh
I'm
wait, you
ready to
got
rock and
you
roll.
Magician. Oh, that's you got Magician Souls, really? Is that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
I broke down and got them because if I'm gonna play competitively, like I got my Imperms, I got my Nibiru's. I've been collecting everything out of Dual Overload essentially to get the zombies together and come back into the game because honestly, as expensive as it is to play, like for the best cards and whatnot, I still think Yu-Gi-Oh! Like for just getting 3 structure decks of a Shadal structure deck.
Yeah.
You can hang in there on a local level, yeah?
Absolutely.
I would agree. I mean, what's funny, that was gonna be one of my topics about, like, or one of the good, like, starting points for this topic is, like, people who want to get into this game, and, like, maybe, like, yeah, they may pick up, like, 3 of the most recent structure deck. I mean, I guess, what would the most recent, well, now the Machina one came out. I'm not even sure how good, I'm not even sure how good that is, but, like, for example, a lot of people, yeah, they would get into the game, buy 3 structure decks, and then maybe a few other little cards that they might need. But I'm just thinking, like, I wonder if, like, people who are getting into the game now, do you think that they're, like, afraid of spending too much money? Because I know one of the people at my locals, he's on the Looking for Games chat, Charles. I don't know if Chris introduced you at Kyle to him at the very least, or talked to him, whatever. But anyway, I know, like, about last year, he got back in the game and wanted to play Heroes, like many Yu-Gi-Oh players want to do, and but he slowly got out of the hero like phase and wanted to start playing other things. He wanted to start, like, just playing newer decks. And before I knew it, he was saying how much money he was spending on the game, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's just going, he's going all in. He's just, he wants the good staples, he wants the good extra deck stuff, he wants the good hand traps and everything. And I think he ended up spending a lot of money. And, because he wants to play, he wants to have a decent deck to play. He doesn't want to be playing anything archaic,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on your situation ultimately, but I think 3 structure decks come to mind, like, within recent years, where you can pick them up, and I think at a very low budget you can jump in. Most recent's obviously the Shadal structure deck, which came out in February, and that just has, like, a massive amount of staples. Super Poly.
It seems like that came out so recently. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other ones that come to mind are definitely Salamangreat. They're still, like, pretty relevant. You get Ash Blossom in there, and then the Dinosaur structure deck. I wanted to mention that as well, even though it's old. It's actually getting an unlimited rerun, supposedly this month. I'm not sure if that's getting pushed back at all. I wouldn't be surprised, given the crush cards out. But the Dinosaur getting an unlimited print run. The deck's still insane. Ultimate Conductor is still, like, one of the best boss monsters in the game.
I agree with that.
And, picking up any of those structure decks at 3, I think, on a pretty low budget, just grabbing a couple extra deck cards or main deck staples or, hand traps, I think it could go a long way. I don't know if there's any others that come to mind for you guys, but those 3 definitely hit home for me.
The one close to my heart's good old Endymion. Big Daddy.
Yeah, I was about to chime in and say, like, definitely. Oh, Tom's in the chat. Sorry. But yeah, like, the Pendulum structure deck, the Endymion one, definitely has seen a lot of play recently. It's
for sure. That's true as well.
Yeah. I mean, granted, it's more like people. It's sad. I don't think people are playing Endymion. They're just playing Pendulums, and they're just throwing in a few of those Pendulum cards. That just because they're good.
I mean,
so
you pick up the structure deck, you grab some.
You grab the drawn lockwards and you throw the rest out.
No.
Just kidding.
I think if you get Selene and I'm trying to think what else. Cerberus was reprinted in there, correct? But Jackal was not.
No, Cerberus I don't think was in there.
I think neither of them were, right? Jackal
Yep, neither one were in there.
Package, I guess, a small mythical beast package,
but a lot of those cards got reprints, which is the one good thing that I will say. Like, being away from Yu-Gi-Oh for however long, like when we stopped PH and then coming back into it where I had literally nothing. And looking at it now, like, even when Ash came out, and I remember dueling against you and getting Ashed, and Kraus, going cleaning the shelves, getting the Ash, and then playing the Ash,
Yeah.
But now there's been 15 prints of Ash. I have every hand trapped. I literally spent 50 cents on Dual Devastator, ultra rare, alternate arts of all the hand traps you could even want.
Yeah.
So, with a little bit, like, I'd say for like $100, depending on how shiny you want your deck, and me, it's got to be all shiny, so it's going to be more in that case. But they have printed a lot of cards common now, which is a good thing. Because back in the day, I swear it was not like that.
No, it wasn't. Like, common reprints were few and far between, like, maybe, like, even, like, 10 years ago, or, like, not even that. I remember, like, the very first, this sounds crazy, but, like, the Marek structure deck, that was probably, like, about 9 years ago, maybe. That came out, and that had the very first common reprint of Mirror Force, and people were going nuts for it. Like people bought that just for the Mirror Force, and it was that which
I
is.
Remember, what else?
I remember that.
It was Man, it was the fairy structure deck that had the Common Judgment. Was it the Hyperion? Was it that one?
No, I think it was the counter fairy one that had the Common Judgment. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Solemn Warning. Yeah, Solemn Judgment Common was in the Master Hyperion deck. Yeah.
First Judgment Common. That was a big deal.
It was, because every other copy was more. Well, I think Judgment was still at 1 for the longest time when that came out, but even the I don't know, maybe the super rare copies were just hard to come by. Even now, I think they're much more affordable. But yeah, it's funny when that happens, Or even more recently, I think there was other Ash Blossom being a common, was kind of crazy.
Right, in the salad structure deck, that offered a lot of value just alone. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, there's a lot of diversity. There were.
See, I feel like there is a lot of diversity in Yu-Gi-Oh now, but the thing I don't like just coming back into it from where we were before, where I could play, Redox with old school Endymion and Wax on Dragon Rulers with something like that, where it was more of a back and forth. Now I can play my Endymion deck and I go first, I win the die roll, and then I set up 5 negates and I say, all right, if you break it, you break it. If you don't, game 2.
That's unfortunately just one of those I wouldn't say it's a format thing. It's more just a phase, because obviously when you get to a faster stage, it's okay. Let's see what kind of crazy board can you make turn 1, and then that's basically what the game is currently right now. People actually no, that's a lie, because now with the Eldritch deck, that's kind of like a control deck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think Adamanticators are still doing that. Turn 1, just make a crazy board, and then if you can't break it, okay, then I win. But. Do you think back to the topic? Do you think that playstyle scares away people from getting into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh? Because Yu-Gi-Oh, unlike any other, Yu-Gi-Oh is so unique, and I tell people this all the time. Yu-Gi-Oh is so unique because it is the only card game that is that lets you do whatever you want on turn 1. I think Magic has does have its examples of when they can go super crazy and stuff, but
I totally agree with that. Just coming from, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the little bit of Magic that I played, and just how, it's played and the pacing of it.
Yeah.
Having to set up your lands and stuff. That feels like me to more like old school Yu-Gi-Oh! And honestly, I like being able to just combo off and,
Yeah, it's fun. It makes you...
let the opponent, because it's like playing... It's like a strategy,
It is. It's kind of let's see. Game. Yeah, let's you put this set together. Let's see what it can do. Impress us. And that's not to say you play over the course of a few turns. It's okay, let's see what combo you can do, because everyone loves watching combo videos, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh. But it's funny. I just wondered when you have people maybe getting into the game, maybe coming over from Magic, where it's not a back and forth. Yu-Gi-Oh used to be back and forth. For the most part, but now it's I just wonder when people can even I guess the game of Pokemon. Pokemon has some really crazy I don't really play Pokemon. I don't play Pokemon, but I heard their cards are just obscene. All this draw power and stuff. They do a lot of crazy stuff, but they're still very limited on turn 1. On Yu-Gi-Oh, as long as your cards say you can keep playing, you can just keep playing. And I just wonder if that scares people away from Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, clearly the game's not getting less popular. I mean, they're breaking records every time there's a YCS or anything, or even the national events. They're always just. I
definitely think it does scare some people away, just because of, the way you got to do things, and just when you're solitaire and against yourself.
Yeah. Because that's
especially in something I like to. I don't know if you guys have. I know PH does. I don't know if you have it, Mike. But the new Yu-Gi-Oh game that came out, if you've never played Yu-Gi-Oh before, and you got that game, it could teach you the mechanics, because the mechanics are a lot. It doesn't take much to learn how to play Magic.
Yeah.
Just because there's not synchro summoning, exceeds, linking, all these different things. If there's a semicolon after the if,
Yeah,
so many different things.
Well, Magic.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, Magic has keywords. That's like their thing. Like they'll introduce like a new mechanic via keywords. I believe that's what they do. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I guess, Hearthstone is also another not card. It's an electronic card game where they introduce new keywords and then that introduces new mechanics and stuff. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, it seems like the majority of their new mechanics are all summoning mechanics. It's all like, okay, like here's a new card, here's a new extra deck card, or
but it's kind of sad because it's like, though, I can pick up a card in Magic, I can read it, I'd be like, okay, what does this keyword do? You tell me what the keyword does. I know what the card does. Like Yu-Gi-Oh, I gotta read it. Okay, can I activate this here? What's cost? Like, there's just so much to a card.
Yeah.
And game knowledge is just everything in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like,
yeah,
I agree. I believe more than
it is.
any other card.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh has a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh has a lot of like rules and exceptions to the rules, and that's kind of where like, can I activate this now? It's like, no, oh no, you can't, and it's like, oh well, why not? And like that knowledge puts you
stacking.
Yeah.
Chains versus stacking. Like,
yeah. Like, it's funny, I don't know Magic, but I hear like stacking is like their form of chaining. Like, but I hear it's way different than like.
It's very different. It's very different because when you stack, the card will resolve in the stack. It's like the old I summoned Stardust Dragon, now I can negate, with Stardust because it came out. No, you can't because it technically didn't come out yet. It's like, oh, like, okay.
Yeah. Well, and that comes down again, and that comes out to Yu-Gi-Oh, where like, Yu-Gi-Oh, and like there's so many little things like was the summon successful? Okay, upon the summon of a monster, like all these little moments and game states are just, and that's why again like the game is so unique and like I guess in a way complicated for some people, Like, I'm not sure. Like, does Magic have like summon negations, or is it just kill something when it comes to the field?
It's just kill something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just kill something.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen a card in Magic just
negate.
Looking at it, and I've only played it a handful of times. I've watched more Magic videos than I've actually played it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like being interested in it and seeing like how it is different than Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, my heart's always going to lie with the Yugs because it's the heart of the cards. It's,
yeah, Magic doesn't have that.
Yeah, it's Yugi, man.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's definitely intimidating for people. That's for sure. Like a Big Rob, like trying to teach Big Rob how to duel.
Right. I feel that. Now, like, if you have a friend that's like trying to come into the game, like where would you even start? Like, would you go through all the different summoning mechanics that you've missed over the years? Like,
I'd literally just hand them the new Yu-Gi-Oh game and say, do the tutorial.
The tutorial, like, I agree. For a $40 paywall, and I think you can get it shipped to you for cheaper off of Amazon, and you get the promo cards, which actually do cover a good chunk change of the game's value. But yeah, the new game, the update that came out in March, is really friendly.
That's the... I'm sorry, Ryno, you mentioned this. Do you mean the one that came out for the Switch?
Yep, it's on the Xbox now as well. But
okay.
It's helped me a lot with like learning some of the new cards and like how my deck functions with other cards and when I can activate things, when I can chain, what exactly is going to resolve if I do this here, and it's really friendly for somebody who doesn't know. For somebody like me or you who's been playing the game for a long time, you don't need the tutorial to teach you how to link summon. But for somebody that doesn't know, it clearly show you every little mechanic that you have. And then if you can activate a card, it's going to consistently ask you, okay, do you want to activate this card? They did something. Do you want to respond to this card?
Yeah, I remember...
it'll give you those options.
Yeah, that's what the old game... I think even the modern DevPro does that, right? Because it's constantly saying, like, do you want to do something? Do this now, because now it's telling you can do this now. I think that is a good way to teach people.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for somebody that doesn't know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, is the game available? Now, I know it's on Switch and Xbox and PlayStation. Is it available on Steam? Can you get it on computer?
I have no idea.
I thought you could. I thought I heard something that you could, but I
know that the cards only come with the Switch one. You can't go buy a physical hard copy of the game for PlayStation or Xbox, is what my understanding is. And it's a shame because, like I said, that one card microcoder that is being played in Salamangre, I think is a $15 to $20 card, so it's kind of a nice little recoup on your initial investment sort of deal. But yeah, pretty good game overall. I think the fact that they updated the game at the end of March with basically all the cards through current at that point in time. So it did include Dual Devastator. It does include the new Master Rule, which is huge. And I think that has a lot of hope with maybe people like looking back into the game or giving it another shake, I guess.
Yeah, Tom just Tom.
Happy with how Links panned out.
Yeah, Tom just confirmed it on Steam actually, $40.
$40 on Steam as well. Okay,
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so you can get it. You can play it in
Yeah.
any situation.
Yeah.
No matter what you have.
I was gonna say I think it's better for some people to just come to like a local game again, like not right now, but come to a local game shop and just watch people play. If you have questions, ask. And then
Yeah.
like we're not all bad people. I'm sure we'll sit down and explain the game to you. Now, that's even funnier because the next thing I want to talk about is not so much people who are brand new, because that's always going to be a challenge, bringing someone into a brand new game. Now, how about people who have been away from the game for so long and they're coming back into the game? Maybe they've been away for the last 2 generations of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like they have no idea what a pendulum monster is, or they don't.
Right. Or a link. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was saying. Like, where would you start? Like teaching somebody that? Would you tell them to pick up Would you? I mean, I would point them to this game still. Like honestly, I kind of agree with Ryno's advice, but I think one of the most important things to know is more than pendulums. Like links are just such a toolbox of effects that any deck can utilize, and really just knowing the hand traps I think is so important as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such a crucial part of the game.
Yeah, I feel like hand traps are that's something that I didn't really deal with per se, and then coming back into it, just seeing, everybody has Ash now. If you're not playing around Ash, Nibiru, you have to.
Yeah.
If you don't, you just can straight up lose, on that turn.
Well, I think that's probably the biggest thing that people are probably unaware of, and maybe you won't see this in Legacy of the Duelist, but this is only what you're going to see against competent players is, excuse me, back in, I would say even since the Synchro era, hand traps were still relatively new. I mean, they existed, the hand traps did exist, but they were few and far between. I remember when...
It was Valor.
When I got back into the game... When I got back in the game, Duelist Rev was out. That was the newest set, and it was the hottest thing ever. And yeah, Effect Filler was it. That was it was the god card. Oh my gosh, this card was so insane for what it could do. I mean, I think before that, the only other card that could do what it did was the Heralds. The Heralds are orange and
right.
And even that was still. I mean, granted, they were fairies only, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, a generic hand trap Effect Filler was insane. DD Crow was around for a while, but even that was
Well, decks weren't as Graveyard centric.
Yeah, it was a side deck card maybe, but then when Effect Filler came out, it was if it's you play it in every single deck, it was just.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty strong.
But that being said, that was really the only real example of a card that lets you interact on the opponent's turn on their turn 1. I think that's the biggest thing, because now they're the number of hand traps the number has increased so much that there's so many different hand traps for every single kind of format, play style, against another deck, a matchup, and there's some that are just generically good, Effect Filler or Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is so generic, and then you even have.
Yeah, you're so right about it. Yeah, Imperm, which is it's a hand trap.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, Imperm's a hand trap.
Gamma.
Yeah. I love Gamma. Yeah.
Yeah, Gamma it's so good.
Yeah.
I think really going through those, because the game really is, it's build a board, break a board. I mean, this is literally the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, and this is how it is in 2020. It's how it's been for a bit. So it's
there are those moments where right now, Eldritch is a really good deck, and it seems like it can play more controlly. It can break boards, but it's I don't really know what they do. Again, maybe I'm sure maybe Kyle, PH, you probably know, because they do the Invoked engine, so maybe that can do a turn 1 play, but majority of the time it's a control game, and it's a control deck that will OTK you potentially the next turn, but
yeah, I mean they're essentially building a board still. If they're running Zombie World with Doom King or They're running. They have a counter trap that essentially negates anything.
Yeah.
That they can search.
And I think something that I've noticed is there's just, as with everything, there's the power creep that comes up. Like even though it is great, like this build-a-board format that you have, there's still the card Dark Ruler No More, which literally says you lose.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like
you respond or it's over.
Yeah. Well, I think people have to. These cards, it's funny because people complain saying
they have to exist.
Well, it's funny because people complain saying there's too many hand traps in the game, and I'm like, I get it, but like, let's say they don't exist. Decks now will just go wombo combo turn 1, and it's like, well, then is that really fair for the person going second? Like, he really can't do anything to. I mean, I know it sounds dumb to interact on the opponent's turn. Like, I know there are certain things like Magic has instance. Yeah, like these things exist in other games, but I feel like people have to understand like these hand traps are obnoxious when they're used against you. Yes, but they exist because they are a necessary evil. You know.
Yes.
And even Dark Ruler No More. Dark Ruler No More is, oh look, here's a board that literally cannot be broken. This card can break it. You know, it's just
yeah. And just to like reflect on that too. There were a lot of online tournaments held last week, and I'm telling you, 90 to 95% of the decks had 3 main deck Dark Ruler No More, and I don't know if that's a sign of a very unhealthy format, but I think it's certainly something to consider. It's like, our board's that strong that you need to run 3 Dark Ruler No More. It should all like almost phased out because of that. Like, a turn 1 window just isn't enough. Like, it's not
anymore.
It's funny how that like went from everybody was talking should all, and now I don't even hear anything about it.
Yeah, I maybe I was out of the game for a while. I was out of the game since the quarantine started for sure. Like, but yeah, people are saying like the decks just gets like stomped on by the Eldritch Invoke deck. It's, like, that's just the better fusion deck, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, like, for example, let's say the opponent has a window, they would just like I hear so much about this the Eldritch Golden Lord guy. It's like, oh, there's a window, he outs anything. Like that's kind of crazy, you know? Like it's, I mean, and strong cards need to exist. I think like it's good for strong cards to exist, but yeah. Do you think that? But do you think like having someone get back into the game, like actually, kind of like what I was going to mention this, like, so let's say someone they left when synchros were around, so they thought like, and at the time synchros were the coolest thing, and they were the cat's meow, you can say. Like everyone loves synchros, every deck played synchros, unless you're playing heroes, but like besides that, or gladiators, I guess at the time, but like. So then if they leave the game for many reasons or whatever, and then they come back in the game and they see, look, these cards are orange and green. Like, what? It's also a spell card. And then they see the Link monsters. Like, do you think that's also intimidating? Like, and I'm not even just saying the fact that the game's evolved to the point where the hand traps are everywhere, and like cards like Dark Ruler No More and what's that? Nibiru exist. But like, do you think just like the new summoning mechanics themselves are intimidating enough to people? To make people say, like, this is just not fun anymore?
I definitely think they are. But at the same time, once you get the hang of them, I love the Link mechanic. Like,
yeah, it's really easy. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's so easy to understand. And the generic toolbox of it is just so good.
Yeah.
Like, I think the nightmares and any of that.
It is generic,
yeah. I think pendulums are still like one of the most confusing. I think it's still by far the most confusing like mechanic.
I would say it definitely is the most. Yeah, I would agree. That's probably the like I remember when pendulums first came out, and eventually you pick up on it. I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. But I would say compared to like anything else, like it is definitely the most complicated. I would say synchros are probably like the next one. Like synchros are fun, and but like they are. Because then it literally involves math, you know? Like, oh, this.
Right.
But then, like, I remember when XYZs came out, and I remember people were saying how these were not going to be good, and synchros were still going to dominate the game. And for maybe for the first couple sets they did, until Dino Rabbit became a thing, then, you know, Exceeds just got better, just more better generic Exceeds. But I realized these things are literally just get 2 monsters at the same level. Like that's so easy. Any deck can do it. Like because with synchros, not every deck can play a synchro because you have to have a tuner monster. So that was kind of like that little like puzzle piece of it.
Everything's getting more generic as the the state of the game goes on. But I think the best thing that they have done, Konami's done, is this whole new master rule was a very positive for the game, in my opinion. And no introduction of a new card type is also really positive because
I
there's
agree.
just so much to learn already for a new player, and to just come up with a new mechanic every 3 years and just throw it into the game and mass print cards. I think this has like a lot of potential for older decks to come back. I think they could tap into a lot of the older decks they haven't touched throughout the Link era. Maybe provide them some more support. The whole new rule with synchros exceeds and fusions not having to go to the extra monster zone. They don't have to go to a link marker. That's
I'm still thrilled about that.
A new gate for some decks. And with that being said, the format is so open right now since we haven't had a ban list yet. Anything's possible. I mean, obviously there are some decks that are performing better than others. I think the whole like Secret Slayer just coming out and having 2 top tier decks in a Hidden Arsenal-esque, like what do they call it, deck build pack, I guess is the technical name. That's pretty crazy. I can't really think of a time when 2 top tier decks came out of the same deck build pack. Like, has that ever happened? I don't think so.
I mean, there's been. I'm trying to think. Like when when the Necros set came out, let's be honest. Ritual Beasts they were a very good deck, but Necros were like tier 0.
That's a good example. I forgot about the Ritual Beasts.
Yeah, they actually were. They were a good deck. They were. I mean, but then like I guess let's go back to the Sky Striker. It was just Sky Strikers. Like everything else, it was like the for hires, Sky Strikers. I don't remember what the other one was. Oh, the zombie stuff. Like it was all about Sky Strikers, and then
and the past few just haven't been enough. Like the 6 Sam stuff came through, the Nephis, whatever how you pronounce that. Even the Dragon Maids and the Generators, like they haven't really done a whole hell of a lot. It's like the past like 2 years of deck building packs. The first thing that comes to mind is Sky Striker, and they dominated for the longest time, but never have there been like 2 in the same pack. Yeah. Since Ritual Beasts, I'd say that's a good point. Ritual Beasts were pretty. They were there.
Yeah,
they showed up.
Yeah, Tom. Tom just mentioned it in the chat. Hidden Arsenal 7. That's actually a good point. Hidden Arsenal 7 had Constellars and Evil Swarm. That was actually
Evil Swarm. Yeah, that's a good one too.
That's another good one. Too. Yeah.
But they're few and far between. To say
they are. They are. Sometimes one will come out and it's just butt. Like the one that had Prank Kids. Like Prank Kids had like some time in the spotlight, but like that was a very, very bad set. Like, and like no one really wanted it, because none of the archetypes that came out in that were like really good. So. Yeah. But yeah.
But as a whole, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to get back into the game. Whether it's picking up the Switch game or just going to your locals once the
Crush card.
Once the Crush card is finished resolving, But
I was actually going to follow up with what you were talking about regarding. Oh crap! I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. About how this new generation of Yu-Gi-Oh is coming out, and they're not introducing a new mechanic. One thing I do like is that kind of like what you're saying, how they could bring back older decks, and we are kind of seeing that because like the cover card for the next set is a brand new version of Guy the Dragon Champion, and it's like I think it's cool that they're. I mean, they've done it plenty of times over the last couple. Like I think ever since the Pendulum era, with like they gave Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Buster Blader. They gave them all like revamps or legacy support. They gave them all legacy support. I love that. So I think it's kind of cool that I agree. Like this whole next generation won't. And here's a whole new, a different colored card to somehow cram into your extra deck. But it's more like here, let's just build upon what we have and give old decks and old play styles some new meaning, some new life, and I think that's exciting, because especially when they even just bring out new, like not even like, oh, let's make a synchro monster for heroes. It'd be just like, no, let's just here's just more Inzektor cards, just to have fun with that, and that's just my little wish from Konami's have more Inzektor cards, but
my wish list is X Sabers. I'd like to see X-Sabers get a little love. They didn't get anything in the Link format. I thought for sure they were going to get a Link, but
Yeah, you're right. They didn't get a Link. That's
MX Saber Invoker was too generic, and that's the last thing they got.
Invoker.
It was a little too generic.
And very bad in X-Sabers. That's the worst part. Like,
yeah, and very bad in its own deck.
Yeah, it was better in the Dolces in his own deck. It's funny.
Yeah. Zoo and everything else.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I remember I picked up like a bunch for like $10 because I sold. I think I was only able to pick up 4, and then when they went to like $70, that was a nice little bit of free money.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so let me check our list again. I'm sorry, I'm very unprofessional. Next part. Unless you guys, hey, be quiet. Unless you guys have anything else you want to chime in about regarding like people coming back into the game. Ryno, do you have anything else?
I do like how you mentioned how they give like the support to more of the legacy decks, because that's something that kind of got me back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Magician getting all the reprints in that. I think it was 2017 Mega 10,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it was exciting. Like it's just
card. It was fun just to play the Dark Magician, and then then they come out with the newest pack where Magician Souls came, and I was all excited for that card.
Yeah.
Well, and Konami does the typical short print on a duelist pack.
Well, don't worry. That's gonna be our next topic. But I do want to chime in and say, yeah, I do like how the duelist packs are mainly doing that. It's usually all legacy support, and I think that's cool. Like Harpies, the Destiny board. Like, I mean, Dark Magicians. More hero stuff came out in the last one. Like there's all trains, which is random, but like all these the last so many duelist packs. Oh yeah, and then there was one with the Weevil Underworld support, the Insect support, and the Millennium Eyes support, Cyberdark support. All these legacy decks or the duelist packs are great. I think they're just and they're fun to see. Cool, like what old. A deck that we love, a deck from the show, like what is going to be revamped, and I think that's just really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next thing I wanted to talk about, and that's kind of piggybacking off what Ryno just said regarding short prints, is the current state of Konami and their sealed product, like how they are releasing the new sets. And I know. I guess if you want to, we can start off right now with short prints.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they're not short printing anything in the core set anymore.
That's what they said. I mean,
apparently it holds true with the Eternity Code release, but the thing to be mindful is they just upped the rarity or the amount of each rarity. So
yeah,
you're still getting 2 or 3 of each copy, but instead of getting like 6 or 7 of one card and 1 of the other, you're getting basically 2 or 3 of each secret rare, if we're specifically talking about that. So even if you go and shell for a case, you're still not guaranteed your play set.
Yeah.
And you're going to have more of a plethora of cards than 7 of one card now.
Well, I think that's better in most cases. Cause, I mean, I remember like Dark Neostorm was a really good example of where we really did not get a lot of I remember in my case, I got 1 no material. Then I wanted to shake my head. Like, really?
Yeah. I mean, I know in my case, I didn't get a Bertar at all. I mean, there was like, and then I got, a bunch of other cards. But yeah, no, not here nor there. But it was kind of interesting. And then on the flip side of the coin, you look at the duelist sets, which have short prints still. See Magician Souls, see...
And they're even worse. They're worse in some cases than the core sets. Like, or
you look at the deck building set. You look at the Eldritch, you look at the Animantic.
Yeah, them too. Yeah,
So I don't know. I think it's pretty frustrating for Konami to come out and say, "Oh, we're not doing short prints anymore," and then they have like the small fine print asterisk, and then they say, "But that's only in core sets and not in everything else that we're printing."
Yeah,
I feel like they need to keep it consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with there being like obviously like it's not like if you bought a box of a new set. Cool, you're gonna get every single card in the one box. Like I understand, like every card game does that. Even like again, take Magic for example. If you buy a box of the latest set, you're not gonna pull every mythic. That's not how it is, you might pull 4, and I'm not even sure how many mythics are usually in a set. Like, what, 12 usually? 12 in a set?
That sounds right.
Yeah, so let's say you pull 4 in a box. It's like, buy 3 boxes, maybe you'll get all 12, like all 12, one copy of all 12,
Yeah.
And in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like, but usually, on average, if you buy a case, you should get. It's just funny where, like, if you buy a case, there's a chance you won't get even one copy of one secret rare. And usually, it's the one that's the best in the set. Like, take Lightning Storm, for example. I think they're having people who didn't get any in an entire case, and that's like, well, that just ruins the value of your case. Like, it just ruins it.
Yeah.
Gosh, back to the deck builders. I remember one of the worst short prints. I mean, right now we're seeing that with like the Eldritch guy, but I remember when the Necros one came out, the Secret Forces. Like, people would, like, I think it was maybe like one Brionac in a case, and if you're like, and that was like if you were lucky. Like, it was like something insane. Like some cases didn't have a Brionac, and it kind of makes you wonder why they weren't more expensive than. I mean, they were expensive, but I'm surprised they weren't more than what they really are. Because, like, or actually no, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it was like 2 per case, but that's still pretty bad for a.
Yeah, that's basically what the Eldritch dude is right now, and the Animancipator Searcher.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
They're like 2 per case. Like,
that's
1 or 2 per case.
That's so bad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
classic Konami.
Yeah,
and then the short print and everything.
Yeah, I mean,
well, not in the core sets anymore.
Well, supposedly, yeah, and again,
supposedly.
I mean, it sounds like people have tested this theory. They bought cases and they've.
Right.
Yeah, again, like that doesn't mean like you buy 5 boxes. Oh, look at that! I only got one. What I don't know. I got one of the Archosaur, the dinosaur guy, but I got 3 of the cover card. This is like no, it's like. I guess you have to take it as like an average for every case, like on average. So obviously there's still going to be nuances, but yeah, you have to say on average you're guaranteed to get at least one of everything, and I guess that's still holding true. I mean, again, there might be some rare exceptions, but as long as it's like a rare exception, then I think Konami is holding true to that statement.
Right. I mean, unfortunately, right now we're in a place where. Our sample size is only based upon Europe, and there is no English distribution yet in North America. So we're assuming it's true. Probably is. But I was just, I guess, a little bit disappointed that they didn't up the ratios in each case. I was expecting maybe a 3rd secret rare per box to accommodate for them bumping the secrets from 10 to 14 or something along those lines. But either way, I mean, the value of each card should be higher, technically, with rares removed. And, overall, probably good for the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Possibly could lead to a more expensive game, which I think we're going to hit on that a little bit later as well, with the cost of the game itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Also, when it comes to, what do you guys think about the? Oh gosh, what was I gonna say? About just like the prices in general regarding like short prints. Like, do you think it's cool that like if you want to play a deck that you guys like, you have to accept the fact that you're probably going to be spending like about several $100s to get like I mean like core pieces for a deck, like not like the fanciest high rarities for extra decks, the best staples. That's a whole nother thing because you'll be spending a lot of money for the staples. But like I mean like I guess take Magician's Soul for example.
Yeah,
do you think it's
that for me? Like Magician's Souls, when that came out, PH can attest. I was so excited to see that card and actually like have the Dark Magicians be playable. And then he called me. He's like, "Oh, it's a short printed card, and it's gonna be the hardest card to get in the set. It's pre-ordering at $100." And I'm just like, "Well, there goes that," because I'm not. Like, honestly, Magician's Souls is a great card for Dark Magician, but it doesn't make Dark Magician tier 1.
No, it actually is a very good, but it is good for that deck. It does make them better. But
it is. It makes it much better, but it's better in an Eldritch deck, Yep. It's better in... It's
better in Spiral or whatever.
Endymion deck,
Yeah.
And the only reason I picked it up is for the Endymion deck, to actually make it full power, Like, just having that ability... to recycle and the genericness of it.
Yeah, but it's just crazy. I mean, because it's funny. I was brainstorming an idea for Monarchs, and I realized, wow, Magician's Soul is insane in Monarchs because you can discard the spell to draw. It can send. There actually is like a Monarch spellcast or whatever. Like it's kind of crazy to think like, but I'm never gonna. I'm not gonna pick it up. It's not worth it. I'm not spending $300 or no more than that. Like the cards like I think went up. I think it went up again. It's like $300 and it's like I'm not playing that for like for my fun deck, you know. But there are people who are passionate about Dark Magician that want to play. It's like I want to play Dark Magician. I have to get this card to make it even relatively playable or even fun for me. And then, they end up, committing maybe a little too much money into the game, especially if they're not a competitive player. I think that's the worst part. Is when it's like for the casual market. I mean, it is what it is, but the casual market really takes a hit by this because they're going to be spending more money than they want to.
Like what ultimately led to me deciding whether or not to get the souls is PH asked me like, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to play? If you're going to go and play, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're actually, and I want to like go to regionals with you guys. Like I've never actually gotten to go to one, so like I really want to like test it out. And like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. You know? So I pick up the souls, but like other than that, like picking up and something that I've really accredited a lot to some of the stuff that I have now is, PH and I will be looking at these market watches when they come out. Like how much did we get the Borreload Savage? We picked it up for like $20, right, PH? It was like $20, $15. Yeah.
I got rid of those.
And now it's $70.
I know.
You know?
That's it's crazy. I remember I pulled two of those at the sneak peek, and I was like, oh well, at least I pulled. And they were going for about $20 at the sneak peek, and that was like sneak peek hype. And I'm like, oh well, at least I pulled like the best ultra in the set, and I'm like, oh, if only I would have known just to hold on to those things because they're going to be so expensive. Like,
yeah, and it goes for like everything, like the dual. What's Dual Overload that just came out? Like I picked up my imperms when they were 18 a piece.
Yeah. Now
they're 30. I just got them. Like 2 weeks after set release when it's flooded on the market.
Yeah.
I picked up my Verte Anaconda for $14. A week later, it's $25.
That's a good price. Yeah, I mean and people do take advantage of that pre-sale, like the pre-sale prices and stuff, like because you're kind of taking a gamble. Sometimes like there's cards that are super hyped up and they're super expensive. I remember in the Dragon Maid pack. I guess that's another example of a pack that didn't have anything good in it, but like. There was the Math Mechs, and there was a rank 4 Math Mech that was going for like $120 pre-sale. Because again, it was short printed, but like, but then of course it was like no one plays it, like absolutely no one plays it, and the card plummeted in price. Like, so I wonder if those people are considering jumping off a bridge because they like maybe pre-saled and paid like $80 a card. And then thinking, cool, it'll go to 120, which it did, and I'll sell them and make money. And it's like, nope, it went down to like. I don't know how much they are now. They're not what they were. A lot of people like to take advantage of pre-sale prices. I remember, oh my gosh, like maybe PH can talk about this when the evil heroes were being announced. Like the Malicious Bane was announced and Adjusted Gold, and people thought, wow, I want these cards. I'm sure you were one of these people, and you pre-ordered them for a fair amount of money, and then people realized that, like again, the short prints take into effect, and then the cards like triple in price. That's just one of those moments where like you can really take advantage of that.
Yeah. And the vendors were canceling their orders. Yeah, good times.
Oh man, that was a mess when that was happening.
Yeah.
People were canceling and then relisting the order for a higher price. Oh man.
Yeah. Pretty unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like short prints are just kind of a necessary evil for the game to go around. At least for Konami to make their dough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're chase cards.
It's all about that sealed product, and for me, like, other than if we get like a crazy good deal, like, I'm not buying sealed product unless I want to get a Lost Art promo from the shop. Like, I strictly buy singles now.
It's
like,
usually better to buy singles.
It is.
Yeah,
I hate
just
saying it,
buy
but it is.
what I need, what I want. I'm gonna have, whether it be 4 or 5 decks, whatever you want to have put together.
Yeah.
And I've just been focusing on those things and those things alone. Even though you're going to spend a little bit more to make it a shiny piece of, Cyber Dragon deck or whatever it might be, it's totally worth it in my opinion. Like, just to get the cards you want and, just bite the bullet when the cards come out, depending on, what it is. Because like you said, even with this Eldritch, I remember seeing people talking about the pre-sale of Eldritch. It was like $70, and they're like, "Oh, it's so high, and there's no way it's going to be that, expensive." And then literally 2 weeks later, it's $115.
Yeah.
And everybody who had pre-ordered at 70 looks like a genius.
Yeah, exactly. I remember people thought that deck was going to be butt. Like, people thought this is just too bad. It was a very bad deck, and then it's like best deck in the game. Go figure.
Yeah. Then again, though, the allure of a pack, though, is pretty strong sometimes, fellas. That's for damn sure.
It is true. The allure of the pack is fun.
Yep.
All right. Well,
I'm introducing, like, the core set changes, and I was saying, oh, well, if they had a third secret rare in there, might be worth considering, picking up sealed, like in some situations, especially in a good set where secrets retain value. But it's tough to look at Eternity Code. Like, a lot of people are trying to compare Eternity Code to Dark Neostorm. Like,
yeah, I think you can't compare it. Like, people are worried that it's going to have the same effect because Dark Neostorm, and this is why you and I were so hyped for that set, because like it had so many good cards and so many good secret rares. And, like, the theory I'm seeing, like, on, like, that Zodiac Duelist channel or group, whatever, is they're saying that because there's so many good secret rares, that's what causes them all to collapse at some point.
Right. They can't all be good. They can't all be expensive, right? Versus you look at, like, last set, which is just Lightning Storm, and that's, like, it.
And then that carries the set. Like, that carries it ahead, It's
right. But I think it's also kind of weird, I don't know, this set's in a weird place. You got the Crush card. You have only the distribution in EU, and you also have a rare, like, the amount of secret rares in the set has changed by 4.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. It's a lot.
I also wanted to ask,
there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, not even that. Like, what do you guys also think about them removing rares from the set? Like, no more rares. From what I understand, it's just every pack will have at least a super rare now. I mean, before it was a rare and a super rare, now it's just every pack will have a super rare. Or you get an ultra rare or secret or the Starlight rare, I think. But
right.
So what do you guys think about rares being out of the game now? Because obviously it's changing. Where, like, to fill in those slots, there's more super rares in the set, which means you're not guaranteed to get, like, if you buy a box, odds are I think it's impossible to get every single super rare because now there's, like, so many.
There's 26 of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my gosh. So and the ultras and secret, yeah. So technically it's like there's more variance, and maybe that's why they decided to cut back on the short prints, and that's probably a good thing for all of us. But I mean, it's kind of interesting to, like.
Oh, you know what? I just realized I misspoke. That's correct. I'm sorry. Yeah, just to correct. I'm sure someone in the comment section will correct me probably like a couple days from now in this video. There's 26 supers.
Okay.
14 ultras, up from 10, and then 10 secrets up from 8. So there's 2 additional secret rares in the set. 4 additional ultra rares in the set, and then super rares have been bumped from 14 to 24.
Jesus.
So
that's a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, cards retain more value. That's really how I look at it. Specifically, the super rares.
Which is good because super rares. I mean, maybe they'll be just like the old super rares, where, like, if you pull a super in a pack, wow, it could be worth money. Now it's like there was, like, maybe ever since Breakers of Shadow, when they introduced the new rarity system where there's a super rare minimum in every single pack. Like, Twin Twisters was, like, an example of, like, wow, it's a good super rare. It's worth, like, $5 to $10, I think $10 at one point. But, like, besides that, many super rares were bulk. I mean, and then over time, maybe a few would go up in price, but like now it's like, okay, cool, maybe the super rares, they're not. I mean, some will still be bulk if they're just bad super rares, but I mean, like now since it's harder to get the ones that you want. I agree. Maybe that'll help them retain value, like the super rares of old. Now, do you guys miss ultimate rares from the sets and ghost rares? I personally think that was like it was sad to see them go because it kind of gives the product more. You have more to look forward to in the packs when you have the ultis and the ghosts. Like the allure of the pack was bigger for ultis and ghosts. Do you guys miss them at all?
I definitely miss seeing ghost rares. I kind of like how they have ultis in OTS now, though. Like, they didn't just, like...
Yeah.
It's just something that the shop can have, like, and you gotta, go there and play, and it's some of the most, staple cards in the format. Like, I do kind of like how they do that, just as a rarity bump for people who care about that, and how shiny the cardboard is.
Yeah, I can see that. I just feel like...
The ghost rares, though, confuse me because I always thought they were really pretty-looking cards,
Oh, yeah. I think...
I've never actually seen a Starlight rare card in person yet, so I don't really know what it looks like, per se.
They're cool.
And how shiny it is. But
I'll say they're definitely nicer in person.
So cool.
They're nicer in person. I'll say that. They're nicer in person, but, like... some of them look bad. Like, it's... I mean, I don't think I ever saw a bad ghost rare, but like these Starlight rares, like some of them look really cool in person. Like I think the one I never saw in person, but like the Water Charmer Link monster looks really sick in the Starlight rare. But then it's like there's the Effect Veiler Starlight rare, which that's actually something we'll talk about too. But like that looks, I don't know. I haven't seen it in person, so I can't really tell. But to me, it didn't look as nice as like the Ultimate Rare Effect Veiler.
Yeah, I think Starlight Rares definitely add something to the game. Like, it almost feels like the return of Ghost Rares. I'm a little disappointed that it's not like a guaranteed one per case thing. I think that would have been a lot better and healthier for the game in general. I mean, already there's a restriction where Starlight Rares can't be in unlimited packs. I think that's fine, but like I think they're a little bit too hard to come by in my opinion, especially considering. Ghost Rares back in the day, it was one card, right? Starlight Rares, there's 4
Yeah, there's
cards.
so much variance. Yep.
There's going to be 5 different cards.
Yep. And Ghost Rares...
chasing that card, it really,
It matters big time, because, like, Ghost Rares... so far, the Starlight Rares are already way more expensive than the Ghost Rares ever were when they first came out. Like,
right.
Because Ghost Rares I think they're about, like, 1 per case. Like, you're usually guaranteed 1 Ghost Rare per case.
Right.
And you're right, it was only the one. So now it's like, oh, cool. Like, after 2, like, what? Like, I think it's like 1.5 cases. You pulled the Starlight Rare. Oh, and it's the bad one. And it's like, oh, that's a shame. Yeah. You didn't pull the Apollosa. You pulled the Salamangreat one. So
that's why I was like, if it was guaranteed 1 per case, like, I think that would be okay. I think the fact that it's guaranteed, like, 1.5 to 2 cases, that's so weird. That's such a random ratio.
Yeah.
You have 4 different cards. Like, I like the fact that, I guess moving forward, they're going to take an old card, put a 101th card in the set, and make it only Starlight Rare. And I think for them to hit Effect Veiler first is a really big sweet spot for some people.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this pack specifically coming out of Eternity Code is really just all the Starlight Rares are waifus. Literally every single one. It's like crazy. And they're definitely not dumb. Konami knows.
Yeah, I think they knew they start goal with this. I do think. I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I guess the other thing, like, I definitely liked Ghost Rares. I miss them. I think Starlight Rares coming back kind of fills that gap. But I definitely do miss just pulling an Ultimate Rare unexpectedly in a pack. I think that, and considering they're not as rare, you know what I mean? Like, you were guaranteed, like, an ulti in a box before. I think the allure of that added a lot to buying sealed product. And with that being removed and only exclusive to the OTS packs, I don't know. I wish they were still there. But I think that was like a printing cost issue, and same thing with like the Ghost Rares. I think they were trying to save on printing. Probably one of the reasons it went away. Yeah. It was pretty unexpected. It was pretty out of left field.
Yeah. I heard they said it was because it was like too expensive to print them. Like it was too expensive for the technology to make the Ghost Rares. I'm not sure how truthful that is. Did you know that in Japan they have like multiple rarities? Like instead of Starlight rares, they still have Ghost rares. They still have Ultis in their sets, and then they have like I forget what else. They have like some really crazy rarity over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I'm jealous that in the OCG they get like so many like alternative rarities for their cards.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I liked about the Ultis. Is that it was like you get the ultra rare, or no, I pulled the ultimate rare version of that. It was kind of cool.
Like, I saw one. It was of a hand trap. It was like an ultimate ghost rare or something. I mean, it was like crazy. Like it was like an ultimate gold rare. I think it was.
Yeah.
What it was all gold, but it was ulti. I was like, "Holy!"
Yeah, it looks nice. Like I mean, I wish we had cooler cards like that. Because I mean, I just like the whole like the way the ultis look. Like I like that extra like foil layer they have on them to give it like some kind of like texture. And I think it's just sad that like you have to look forward to the tournament packs to get them now. I mean, I guess it's fun if you do play in tournaments, but like
for sure. But the tournament packs specifically, they really are just hitting on meta cards and reprints and like rarity bumps. Whereas the ultimate rares were just giving like rarity bumps to the newer cards, and I don't know. Like I remember I think it was it during? No, it wasn't during Pendulum. Must have been during the Exceed era. They turned down the amount of ultimate rares.
They did. Yep.
It used to be like
every ultra rare could be,
or ultra rare could be
the ulti. Yep, that's what it was.
Right.
Yep.
And then towards the end of their life, there were 5 ultis per set.
Yep, and they were random. Like some of them were like a rare, some was a super. Yeah, like it was different. It's kind of like what they're doing with Starlight rares. How like a rare, super, ultra, and secret can be Starlight rare. That's kind of what they were doing back then. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that would be fine with me, but obviously, I don't think they have any intention. I mean, they're once again removing another card type from the pack moving forward, and the rare's gone now.
Yeah.
So like clearly they're trying to cut back on costs. Like I don't foresee any of that coming in the future, unfortunately. In the foreseeable future, to say the least. But
yeah. Yeah. All right. I guess if you guys want me to move on to our last topic, and then we can kind of do like a free for all. But just like, what do you think of the state of the game currently with this whole crush card virus going around? This health crisis. Like, I mean, because despite the fact that cards are so expensive, and there's such not even in the meta and like the modern stuff, like vintage cards have been going up in price. Like it's really insane, and I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the stimulus checks and everything, but like especially when it comes to modern cards, we were talking about this earlier before the podcast started. Like, why are people spending all this money on your Eldritch cards? Why are you spending several $100s and you're not actually playing the game? You're just playing because I thought they were really trying to enforce the video dueling. Like I saw some memes on Facebook of people like saying how Konami wants to enforce using a camera to videotape your playmat, and that's how you play. And I guess that would enforce you to play with the actual physical cards as opposed to playing like on Dueling Book or something. But like then we learned like they were actually hosting tournaments using Dueling Book. So it's like, why are people spending all this money on these cards now?
I don't believe any of those are Konami affiliated though. I mean that's like PPG.
It was PPG and stuff. Yeah. But still, like, but people are still. But let's just say, like, they are hosting these tournaments, and they're the only ones that are actually going on currently. But it's all electronic. So why? I'm just wondering what you guys think. Why are people spending the money on cards? Like, why are you picking up these cards at ridiculous prices, and you're not even using them?
That's a really good question for me. Just seeing how far some of the cards balloon. Now, like you said, Mike, the stimulus check definitely, helped push me to the edge on the Magician's Souls.
Mm-hmm.
But I also had picked them up, when they're 85 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
And PH was the one who said to, like, look around, because I was on TCG Player, and, they were sitting at 95. I go to Trolling Toad, and they got them for 85. Buy it now, And I just quick scooped them up, and that's that. It seemed like a good spot for me to pull the trigger on if I was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it really depends on the card as well. Like, Magician's Souls, in my opinion, is an extremely safe investment. Like, compared to other cards.
Yeah.
Like, What doesn't make sense to me right now is people buying out Medolce Angeli is a perfect example. Medolce Angeli confirmed for Battles of Legend in like less than 2 months. Okay, we're not playing. We know we're not playing like 100% in the next 2 months. Okay, why are you buying Medolce Angeli for $40? That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's
Especially when it's guaranteed to be a reprint. You know.
Now, the Eldritch stuff, the stuff out of the new set, I do understand to some extent as well. Like, I also think that that's a pretty safe investment for the most part. You know, if they're gonna do something directly to the whole Souls engine, they're probably not gonna hit Souls. You know, they're probably gonna hit a very cheap search card, for example, in the Eldritch deck.
Yeah.
In Animancipator, they're probably just gonna put Block Dragon to 1 or 0. Like, they're not gonna hit the deck directly. So there are like cards that I think are safe, and I think specifically looking at the Starlight market, the Vintage market. You know, but it is interesting to say the least with the whole, you know, the Crush card and when everything is going to end and get back to normal. It's like, yes, you're not going to be using these physical cards, but I guess starting in the new calendar year, once all this pushes through and life starts to get back to normal, there could be a big balloon, especially for cards that aren't confirmed for reprint in the Megatins or in the Battles of Legend, you know, specifically looking at, like I said, the Secret Slayer stuff, the Magician Souls, the Lightning Storms that we know aren't in, you know, the Megatin. You know, cards that aren't going to be getting reprinted until 2021, basically.
Yeah.
You know, but why now, I guess, is the question.
Yeah.
Why now and why not in 2 months?
Yeah.
You know?
That's my thing. Like, I don't know, like, cause it's not like there's no world tournament, there's no nationals. There's not even local. I mean, people can play locals, like kind of like what they're doing, like, you know, go on Discord and play on Dual Book, monitor it that way, sure. But like, I just don't understand why right now people were basically, why are they playing that risky game of like, let's see what happens. Like, I think it could even go to a ban list. Like, hey, well, there's no ban list right now. At least there's one coming up eventually. What do you think they're going to bring back? What do you think they're going to hit? And because cards are going to get hit, what are the cards that are going to spike in response to that? And people were, you know, playing that game, and it just kind of blows my mind. Like, I don't know.
I think it is a really weird spot to be in as well. You know, I mean, there's a lot of factors. You also have the whole like master rule change taking effect April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
You have the, you know, yeah, you have a Crush card. You have all these sets coming out. You have a ban list supposedly June 1st or anytime after, which
the
no sooner thing still remains, are they going to do anything? Because everything's canceled through July, which ends the calendar year for Yu-Gi-Oh! Technically.
Yeah, are
they even going to bother, I guess, is the question.
No, I agree. To me, it's like,
honestly, the master rule might have a little bit, you know, something to do with it. Just people being more hyped to come back and play. Like, for me, it definitely, you know, has given me a little bit more life, you know, being able to not have to worry about the link mechanic as much and, you know, making sure I have zones pointing out. Like, it just seems, you know...
Yeah, I think that was...
More fun and more fair, if that makes any sense.
No, it does.
It's back as well.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, for sure. It brings life into older decks that like had no chance unless they got a Link Monster, and they still never got one. So it's like, it's kind of cool that I definitely think the Master Rule was definitely a move in the right direction to like get people back in the game, get hyped for their old favorite decks and everything. But I still don't think it justifies some of the prices that we're seeing for this. It's just it blows my mind. And this is not even for like tournament pack cards and like Ghost like the vintage market, but like you see even like just random buyouts. Like if you go on YouTube and you look at those market watches, you'll see this like the Angel is a good example. But there's so many just random buyouts of like random cards.
Yeah. There's definitely things that don't make sense to me. Cards that aren't scheduled for reprint, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not surprised. Like people get stimulus money, you know. The first thing you think of is like, I mean, this is just sad, but it's like, is rent paid this month? Do I have any expenses to worry about? No? Okay, Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, like... Yeah. That's unfortunately, I think, the mindset of, like, some people, but, like, I mean, don't know.
To each their own. I mean, if they have...
And there's nothing wrong with that, but...
Yeah, if that's their luck...
surprised that there's buyouts in the vintage market, and there's buyouts in cards that aren't going to be reprinted anytime soon. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, I took a gamble, that's for sure. I picked up Extravagances before. It was in early February before this whole, you know, Crush Card kind of hit home here in the States.
Yeah.
And, because I was looking forward to regionals and nationals this year, and Worlds actually being in the United States is a possibility to maybe, do some traveling and get involved and improve the consistency of my decks. Like, Extravagances getting played in every deck, and here I'm sitting with them. They're still at the same price I basically paid for them, maybe a little bit higher even. And it's like, they're confirmed for reprint in July. Do we know if the set's being delayed? We have no clue. But I have a sneaky suspicion if I put them online right now, I could probably get rid of them for basically what I paid for them. It's just it's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But what I'm wondering is,
it's a good question across the board because, like you said, Mike, that's a lot of random stuff too. It's just like the Angelis and I saw Mecha Phantom Beast O-Line Rare was like $15 or something.
There's
and people are buying it.
Yeah, it's funny because I can't understand a rare that never got reprinted and it's used with needle fiber. I get that. That's where it's supply and demand. But then it comes down to, why is there such demand for this when you can't actually you don't need the card physically? That's my thing. Even the Angeli example that PH brought up is more of why are people buying this when it was confirmed to be reprinted? That's
and Mecha Phantom Beast O-Line. That's the other one that gets me.
Wait, that was in there too? Oh, I didn't know that.
Mecha Phantom Beast O-Line is getting a super rare in Battles of Legend. It's a $10 to $15 rare right now. Why? Why are they getting bought? Who's doing that?
People Ryno was just saying why are people buying it? I think it's because you need it for needle fiber, but it's but why are you physically playing the game right now? Or where are you physically playing the game?
Yeah.
I love shiny cardboard as much as anybody else, but why are you spending the money on them right now?
I don't know. But my question to everybody is, watching this video, is where would the game be if in terms of prices, if the Crush Card didn't resolve? Crush Card didn't resolve. How much would a Lightning Storm be right now? Would it be the same price? Would it be more, less?
I don't know.
The same?
Yeah, I remember we talked about this before the stream, and I was thinking the same. I was looking forward to this question because if there were regionals and YCS, if there were actual tournaments to play in, and people had a reason to play to get your invite to go to Nats, would people still be spending $100 on a Lightning Storm, or would they be $80 by now? And to be honest, I actually do think they would have been down a little bit. $80 is still a lot of money, but I feel like there would be a trickle because people would still be outside buying products still. There'll still be more product being opened, I think that ultimately comes down to, because with the Eternity Code, the prices were starting to settle just from hype and pre-sales and everything. But now that the product because the product's out now, not many people are really buying it. People are ordering it and getting it shipped to their house, but it's different compared to going out into the store and people ripping open boxes at their locals. I know that might seem like that doesn't happen all the time, but I'm pretty sure it does. There's plenty of people who go out there and buy a product at retail price, rip it open, and it just gives more cards are put into the market. And I don't think there's as many right now for the latest set, so that might also be a factor.
I'm somewhere in the middle of the road with this, honestly. I'm not sure exactly where how much Lightning Storm is being played right now. I think from what I've been seeing, it's been more of a Dark Rule or no more sort of deal. So I can't really sit here and talk about Lightning Storm's price. If it was being played, I think it would be more than what it currently, personally, because I think the set's just kind of out of print at this point. It's not on the shelves as much.
Yeah.
I do think Secret Slayers would probably be about the same, and the reason why is because there's a lot of supply issues that they're still suffering with, just given the situation. So I think more product would be correct, even though there's short prints and maybe more people would be picking up the deck. I think the Eldritch and the Animancipator cards would probably be around where they're at right now, but I don't know. It's tough to say, and there could be more of a demand. The prices could technically be higher than what they are right now as well. It's hard to say because you have the new Master Rule, you have the you're really getting hit with a trifecta of things here.
Mm-hmm.
Between.
See, for a card like Lightning Storm, in my opinion, like that thing's just not gonna go anywhere until it gets either reprinted or banned.
Right.
Because
At this rate, yeah.
It's just so good. Like, it's just.
Right.
It's such a good card. Like, it's always going to be $115. Like, until something happens.
Yeah.
Like,
Ideally,
you can't play this anymore.
Oh, I agree, because, like, it's supply and demand right now, and, like, it's like, well, right now there's still a demand for it. Why wouldn't you play this card? Especially because, like, right now, if you're going... Because decks are so many decks are good at going first, and it's like the whole break the board mentality. That's why you... At the very least, if you're not main decking this card, you're siding 3 of it. Because you need to. And yeah, until it gets reprinted or banned, or not banned, but like, you know, until it maybe gets like limited or semi-limited, yeah, I don't see the card going down in price at all. I mean, clearly, again, kind of going back to what we're talking about, if it clearly a recession and a pandemic is not enough to stop this card from going down in price. You know, it's just silly, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but I'm curious to hear what everyone else thinks in terms of the price of meta cards if the Crush card didn't resolve.
Yeah, Damn Donald Trump! He didn't have a 7 tools to stop it.
Yeah, no wiretap.
No wiretap. I missed that card. All right, yeah, definitely. It's to the listeners out there, you know, write down in the comments below if you have any thoughts and stuff on just the state of the game right now, the state of prices and everything else. But that's definitely it for now, as far as like the topics I had written down. But PH, Ryno, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
Man, everybody should be subscribing to the Collector's Vault.
Yeah, subscribe to the Collector's Vault.
Oh, you guys
love the mic.
You guys are too kind.
Yeah,
you guys are too kind.
You're gonna see some great stuff here, and I was looking at some of the one-card Karakuri combos today that Mike had put out, and
I like that combo. It's good.
Yeah, that is pretty good, man.
Dude, Karakuris can make calamities now. I'm so happy. A one-card calamities. Yeah,
unbelievable.
I do want to chime in and say to the listeners out there, if you have not subscribed to Community Gaming V2, go ahead and do yourself a favor and do that.
There might be some new content coming out here and there. You never know.
Yeah, well, if people start subscribing, it'll give you more of an incentive to want to make new content, you know?
For sure.
I'll be definitely posting some of my deck profiles and stuff.
Well, there you go.
Once I get back in there.
Yeah.
Just dealing with this injury and whatnot. But I have been working on Cyber Dragons. I got the pendulums all together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm set. I'm ready for locals, like a lot of people I think are.
Yeah.
But why? There is no locals.
We're ready for the Crush card to be ending.
That's the eternal question. Like, why?
Get back.
The chain needs to resolve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Everybody's just anxious to get out, you know?
They are.
Do something you enjoy. And
they
like
are.
you said, Mike, at the beginning, if you don't know how to play, locals isn't just a whole, little sweat fest or whatever you might think it is.
You can go to learn.
Good people there that'll help you learn to play.
Yeah.
It's that camaraderie. It's the good time you have with each other. So that's what people are missing the most.
I agree. That it's a community thing, you know.
Yeah. You gotta do it for the community.
Do it for the community. Yeah, exactly. All right. Now, PH, you said you had a fun little activity that you might had planned for.
I just wanted to ask a generic question and see. I got a couple little things I looked up like throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history and.
Oh yeah. Oh, the things that you learned.
A little bit of knowledge here, real quick, to end the stream.
Okay.
All right. So, Ryno and Mike, what can you name? The first ban list that came out for Yu-Gi-Oh! 4 cards got banned.
Ooh, I might be able to answer this. You know what? Ryno, do you want to take the floor and go first?
You want to take a guess? We'll do 1 point for a correct answer.
Okay. I have my list, but I'll let Ryno make his answers. Here, I'll write it down. Cause right now I have my screen up, so I'm gonna actually write it down just so that way people don't think I'm cheating right now. So go ahead, Ryno. You can
I don't even know where to start on this one because back then up until probably 2010, I didn't even really play per se competitively. Like I still would normal summon a fusion monster.
Yeah, that's.
So I honestly couldn't even give you a guess on it. I could guess, but I don't even.
I think we take a stab at it. The list, it's a pretty big list. Pretty lengthy list.
I mean, this is the 4 cards that were banned, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry.
My guess is, well, I don't know what sets was Snatch Steal in there.
I misspoke.
Or Delinquent Duo.
Well, I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm sorry, PH. What were you saying?
Let me correct myself here for a second. So, let me give you a little more perspective.
Okay.
It was 4 monsters, 7 spells, and 2 trap cards. They all got banned on the first ban list.
Oh, okay. I think it meant 4 cards as a whole, but that's like that's a lot more.
Sorry. And let me give you a date. Maybe the date will help. This was October of 2004.
Okay.
First time a card was ever banned. There's been ban lists before this, but there were never cards that were just flat out like illegal to play moving forward. There were limits.
Yeah, there were limits and everything. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So 4 monster cards. So we want to take a stab at it.
I do have one. I think it was Cyberstein. He was banned like immediately. That's one. Off the top of my head. Another one. Oh gosh. Banned. And it's funny because when you hear them, you'll think, "Wait, that card was banned." But back in those days,
here's the thing: Cyberstein is now on the list.
Maybe they
What
come
about
out.
Regaki?
Regaki is one of the cards banned.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Pot of Greed
Harvey
wasn't one for a
Featherduster.
while, but Pot of Greed was banned, I think, on the very first time there was banned cards. Is it Pot of Greed on there?
Pot of Greed is not on there.
Interesting. Wow. Dude, this actually is kind of funny.
Is Harpy's Feather Duster on there?
Harvey's Feather Duster is on the list. 2 points for Ryno.
Oh,
Mike?
man. Okay. Man.
Mike, go for 2.
What's called the Haunted Band?
Call the Haunted is not on the ban list.
Oh, man.
Ryno?
I'm gonna guess Dark Hole.
Dark Hole is on the list.
Oh, my gosh. You're right. How about...
God.
Oh, here's one. Last Turn. Was that banned?
Last turn was not banned.
What?
That was literally my next guess, dude.
All right, your turn, Ryno.
Alright, well, if Pot of Greed's not banned, but I'm gonna guess Graceful Charity, because that's
Charity
just
is
a broken
banned.
card.
Oh my God, Ryno, you're killing me on this thing. You're killing.
4-0.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
All right, Aaron,
game.
all right. Painful choice, or painful decision. That was called. Yeah, painful decision.
Painful Decision is not on the list.
Is painful choice or decision? I forget what it was called.
Neither of them are
Neither.
on the list.
Mal. Oh my gosh.
Ryno for 5 in a row.
Was BLS out then? Blackluster
BLS is not
Silver?
on the list, unfortunately.
I don't think it was. Well, yeah, I think BLS was out at that time. He was.
It was out.
He was out.
was
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other crazy.
Get on the board.
I want to say something like maybe like Breaker the Magical Warrior. Was he banned?
No, he was not. It's a good guess, though. He was limited, but he was not banned.
Man, this is crazy.
Ryno?
I know Delinquent Duo got banned early.
Delinquent Duo is on the list.
Okay.
100%. So, 5th point. So, to go over what we have on the list so far, we really hit home on the spell cards here. We got Dark Hole, Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, Harvey's Feather Duster, and Regaki. So we're missing 2 more spell cards. We still need all 4 monsters, and we're missing 2 traps.
Okay, how about spell card, the Forceful Sentry?
Forceful Sentry is not on the list.
Man, I'm doing terrible.
Ryno? Ryno with all 5 so far. We have 4 monsters, 2
See,
spell
I'm
cards,
just thinking
and
of
2 spell
cards that
cards.
are just like complete board wipes back in the game. Mirror
Yep.
Force.
Mirror Force is on the list.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So we got one of the 2 trap cards. We still have 2 more spells, and we have 4 monsters. I'm surprised you guys aren't hitting on the monsters.
I'm trying to think of like amazing monsters.
Ryno took a stab at it, and he was in the right ballpark, but
It has to be like
It's not the right card.
a big like boss monster. Oh, Chaos Emperor Dragon.
Chaos Emperor Dragon is on the list.
Oh, finally. God.
Yes, Mike is on the board. So we have one of the monster cards that is banned. It was not BLS, it was Chaos Emperor.
I remember back in the day that I don't know if it was banned or, golly, Magician of Faith.
Magician of Faith, I think that's a pretty good guess too. I would have guessed that, but it is not on the list, unfortunately.
What's a monster? Gosh, it must be. It's probably just like. It has to be like a level 5 or level 6 like monster, like a tribute summon monster. Like, is Jinzo on the list?
Jinzo is not on the list.
Okay. Because I remember
thought.
I think he was at 1 at some point.
I'll give you a hint. It's the complete opposite of what you just said. There's nothing high leveled outside of the Chaos Emperor Dragon on the list. You got to think pretty basic here.
Wow.
Basic Yu-Gi-Oh, how it was back then.
Mechanical Chaser. Oh no! No! Because Gemini Elf was out at that time, so that was bigger than him. All right, never mind. That was a waste of a guess. Ryno, it's your turn.
Got 3 monsters.
Well, I knew this card got banned at one point, and I know it came out early. Just because of Tour Guide, I'm going to guess Sangan.
Sangan is on the list.
Ah.
Search cards.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna piggyback off that and say Witch of the Black Forest.
Witch of the Black Forest is also on the list.
Okay.
The search cards. All right, so there's one monster card left. It's a pretty well-known card. I'm surprised. This is a card that's still banned to this day. Actually, that's still on the list.
Ooh, I think I know which one it is, but Ryno, it's your choice now.
Yeah. So we still have one monster. We have one trap, and we have 2 spell cards left on the list.
Well, I'm just gonna take a shot at Reborn.
Monster Reborn is on the list. Yep.
That is on the list? Wow.
It is on the list. All right, so we have one monster, we have one spell, and one trap left.
Okay, I think I know what the monster is. Yada Garasu.
It is Yada Garasu.
Okay.
Yes. Yada Garasu with the Chaos Emperor and Void.
I would have never guessed that.
Yep, still banned to this day. Broken card. Yes, sir. And so, okay, so we have one spell and one trap left. Ryno, do you want to take a stab at it?
Torrential Tribute?
No, it's
when
not
that came out.
Pretty good guess, though.
Yeah, that's a good guess. Trap. Solemn Judgment? Was that banned?
No, it was not.
Okay, because that was a 3 for the longest time.
How about we do? I forget who guessed first, but why don't we do like one more guess each, and then we'll just kind of reveal the
that's fine. Ryno, you can go. You can get the your next chance. Good.
Well, I'm gonna guess a card that came out a long time ago that let you not play Yu-Gi-Oh! That still is around that lets you not play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay.
One of the bane of my existence is in Pendulum, Imperial Order.
Imperial Order is the trap on the list.
Oh, God.
Imperial Order is banned. Now the question is, Mike, can you end it off strong
with the spell?
With the last card on the list. It is one spell card.
Okay, I gotta think about this, because I can't believe Painful Choice.
I'm happy to give you a hint. I'll tell you what kind of spell card it is, if you'd like, as a hint.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you want me to be like specific and just say it's not a normal spell, or if you would like.
I think we'll go with that. It's not a normal spell. That's probably
it's not a normal spell.
Okay, then it has to be a quick play spell. I'm gonna say it might be. I'm just speaking out loud. Maybe could it be an equip spell? I was thinking it might be Mystical Space Typhoon, but if it's an equip spell, because the worst. Wait. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess because back then they were powerful. It's Mage Power.
You are in the right ballpark, but unfortunately is not Mage Power.
Ah, what was it? United We Stand?
It is United.
Oh, so close. Oh, wait, I just saw Tom. Tom wrote that. United We Stand. Tom got it right. Oh, that's funny. Good job, Tom. You got it.
Yeah. I like Tom's guess of Man-Eater Bug. I was like trying to put it together.
Oh, man, that's funny.
But, yep.
That's funny.
But, yeah. So, Ryno definitely gets the celebratory lap for the most points there on the guesses, but
I'm proud of you, Ryno.
Pretty good. Especially considering I don't think any of us played during this time.
No, I was literally just guessing old cards.
I was playing with my friends, but like I was not playing seriously. I was not playing meta or anything.
Yeah.
I first started playing in 6th grade, 5th or 6th grade, with a couple friends from school, but I definitely was not playing bandless stuff and 100% didn't have any of these cards outside of like the structure deck cards. They're pretty standard cards in here, a couple of them. But anyway, well, thanks for playing. Thought it was a little fun game.
Yeah, it was a fun little game. I like that. I'll have to come up with that like for future like streams, like little like quizzes like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I enjoyed that.
Gets people involved.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how much longer you guys want to talk here, but I think I do want to maybe finish off with one last thing. Is what did you like? This is actually one of PH's other suggestions, so this is all credit to him. What did you learn in the last year, as far in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh? Isn't that what you were discussing earlier? Like,
just like something maybe you saw that I was gonna go. What'd you learn this week? Like, is there
this week? I'm sorry, this week.
Like,
okay.
Super broken, and you're just like, wow. Like, I feel the need to share this. Like,
Yes.
with the public.
I saw the one card Deep Sea Diva rip the whole hand out of opponent combo, which was just absolutely redonkulous with Monglacia, and then they synchro, and then they tear their whole opponent's hand out of their hand and end on Oral Sword with 3 negates and a VFD.
That seems fair.
That's
now what
that's
I want to
crazy.
know is, like, if you had the Ash, did they just pass? Like, do they have anything else? If you just Ash?
Well, there's some card that I've never even heard of that like lets you look at your opponent's hand, and then you can like pick a card out of their hand, and you can like do that before anything if you hard draw it before you normal summon the Diva.
A trap card?
I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, because there's
I'd have to double check and look at it.
Yeah, because there's trap cards like a Pointer of the Red Lotus, which basically acts as like a trap dust shoot. I know there's Monglacia.
Yeah, it must be that then. It must be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also gonna say maybe a. Yeah, that's all I can really think about. As far as cards that let you rip a card out of the opponent's hand. But all right. How about
it lets you look at it, which is the most broken thing.
Yeah. Knowledge is power, man. Well, that's why Trap Dushy was so good because like it's because you see you see exactly what the opponent has, and then you choose the right card to put back, and that's like that could ruin their entire hand. Like you put back that like against Eldritch, you put back that zombie guy. It's like, all right, well your hand might be bad now.
I think it's just like the knowledge of the hand too.
Knowledge is important, yeah, because then you know exactly how many. Because like a lot of times people will bait you with like cards, and then it's like, well, now that you know what's in their hand, you're not baited anymore. You'll negate the right card that you want to negate because you know exactly what they're capable of doing. So that's always important, I think.
Yeah, I've always said like that. Knowing if you can know your opponent's hand, that's game breaking. You should win that 99% of the time. Like that's so strong in Yu-Gi-Oh! But that combo just in itself, I think I saw it on Team Samurai X.
I'm not a fan.
Wow.
I'm not a fan of Team Samurai X. Ugh.
Yeah, neither am I per se. But just to like look at it, like I think it popped into my feed. It was just like one card degenerate combo, and I was like, "What is this?"
The Karakuri
just
combo.
The normal summon of a Diva, and then they lose their whole hand, and you end off Savage Dragon, 3 negates, and VFD. I mean,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. PH? What did you learn this week?
Unfortunately, we kind of like touched on it already, but I just kind of want to hit home again on just like how outrageous the Starlight Rare market is right now. I mean, it's just like ridiculous. Like the worst Starlight Rares are $200 right now. I mean, it's basically at that point. Like I'm trying to think of which one it was. It's the trap card. It's like the Dragon Ruler one.
Mm-hmm.
It was like $60. It's now like $150. Like all the Starlight Rares are just getting bought out right now, and it's truly like something else. To like see that. The other thing I saw this week, I saw this one guy. He uploaded a video of him. He opened a PSA graded 8 Venusaur. He picked one up to complete his PSA 8 trio of Pokemon starters. So I want to give out a shout out to that guy, the Collector's Vault. So that's pretty awesome to have a PSA grade 8 of each of the original OG starters, first ed, base ed. It's quite an accomplishment.
Oh, he sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah, you should go subscribe to him.
Oh, I'll have to go look him up. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate that little shout out. Yeah, that was a nice little milestone for me to finally get my trio completed.
Yeah. Pretty cool. How about you, Mike? What did you learn this week? Anything crazy?
I definitely did. I'm trying to think. Like, in terms of, like, not even just Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon specifically, but just, I mean, usually just, again, I talk about all kinds of collectibles. I'm trying to think of something that I did learn. And I know I learn something new every week, but of course, when I'm put on the spot, I can never think of anything. I Googled up a card I want to talk about in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was, do you know what the newest craze is for Yu-Gi-Oh! I just learned this week.
The bearer statue combo?
The bearer statue combo, yeah.
I heard about that too. With
the new Gizmek guy, yeah.
The new Gizmek.
It just makes me think, like, is that going to be the new thing now? Everyone's going to be playing the Gizmek, and then
now water charmer, right?
Now, granted, it's like you have to. People were saying you play the barrier statue of the Torrent because if they play Needle Fiber, that's the card you target. I think I'm not even sure. Let me read up this guy because I don't remember exactly how he works. It's like when your opponent's summons from the main deck. It's like with Gizmek, like Fox, I think his name is.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I read this guy word for word. Yuka the Festive Fox. That's an interesting name. See, Japan uses Ultimate Rare. Here we go.
I believe it also has something to do with, like, you need to run, like, a water... Basically a monster in your deck, and they were running, like, this Water Charmer level 4.
Oh, yeah, well, that's how you out... I think it's because that's how you out the combo, because you can out it by playing the Water Charmer, because then it gets rid of them. The Water Charmer can summon itself from... It's actually one of the very few examples of a card that can summon itself from the main deck. So if you play the Water Charmer, you can summon it out of your main deck by getting rid of your barrier statue. I think that's the combo. So that way you can keep playing. But here it is. So if a monster is special summoned from the main deck, I guess, any main deck, you can summon this card from the hand, and then if this card is normal or special summoned in any way, that's interesting. I thought it was only by its own effect. You can target any monster your opponent controls, summon a monster from your hand or deck whose attack and defense are the same. And it has to have the same attribute as that monster. So basically, all the barrier statues have 1,000 attack and defense. So they're all potential targets to summon out of the deck. And I think because a lot of people are playing Needle Fiber, it's like this is like the new hot tech. You play Gizmek Fox when your opponent plays, well, basically anything that's someone from the main deck, and Needle Fiber is a good example. You can summon him, and then you can get out a barrier statue. And normally, people think the water one's the best one because everyone's playing Needle Fiber. And Needle Fiber himself does summon a monster from the main deck. So that's what I learned this week, and I was like, oh man, I should have invested in this freaking Fox card. Because I'm pretty sure they were cheap, and now I'm pretty sure they're probably up a lot more now. Let me see what they're going for. EC031.
The whole set's extremely expensive for no reason. Because, well, not for no reason, but...
Well, for the reason that we talked about. The card's only $30. I heard it was like 50. So 30. I mean, 30 is still a lot, but it's definitely not what I thought it was. But all right.
Well, once the U.S. market floods, we'll be good. But, all right. Well, I appreciate the chat, fellas. I believe I'm getting summoned for dinner.
Yeah.
So.
No problem. I might have to get ready for work tomorrow. Adult life, Yeah, but I do want to say thank you for all of our listeners, for watching. Again, if you guys want to, please leave comments down below. Like, I'll do my best to get back to them. Maybe I'll even have to refer to Ryno and PH for some of the answers. But yeah, like anything that we talked about regarding the current state of the game, the card market, getting your friends back into playing the game, or people who are new to the game, yeah, please rate some stuff down in the comments below. And I do want to thank our favorite members from Community Gaming V2, PH, and Ryno. Thanks again thank you again for joining me on our live chat. It was fun having you here.
Thanks for having us, Ryan.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Do you guys have any?
Pleasure talking to you, boys.
Always a pleasure, man. Do you guys have any last things you want to say? Final thoughts?
Subscribe to the Collector's Vault. Mike's a good dude. Makes good content, and it's a nice plethora of variety. So.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be back on here soon.
Definitely, man.
Hope everyone's doing well, and take care, everybody.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.